We've all been there. The sharp, unexpected sting of injustice, the burning frustration when someone wrongs you, betrays your trust, or causes you profound pain. In those moments, a primal part of the human heart cries out for balance, for reckoning, for karma to intervene. You might find yourself endlessly replaying the scenario, consumed by a quiet rage that festers beneath the surface, or haunted by a deep, aching desire for them to get what they deserve. This longing for some external cosmic correction, this heavy burden of unresolved anger can feel like an invisible chain, binding you not to the future, but to the very past that caused you harm. It steals your sleep, poisons your peace, and keeps your spirit from soaring free. But what if true justice isn't a fiery storm you desperately wish upon others, but a silent, inherent, and utterly inescapable process? What if karma operates in ways far more profound, far more personal, and infinitely more effective than any direct act of revenge you could ever conjure? And what if understanding this silent justice is not just a compelling philosophical concept, but a powerful, practical path to your own inner freedom and lasting peace? Today, we embark on a transformative journey deep into the heart of Stoic philosophy. We'll uncover 5 profound Stoic ways that karma truly works, not as an external force of retribution, but as an inherent, natural consequence woven into the very fabric of reality and human nature itself. And here's the most liberating truth. These are ways that require no revenge needed on your part. No anger, no bitterness, no lifting a single finger. By embracing these ancient insights, you don't merely gain a deeper understanding of universal justice. You reclaim your power, fortify your spirit, and experience a profound liberation that no act of external retaliation could ever possibly provide. Prepare to fundamentally transform your perspective on wrongdoing and find ultimate freedom for your soul. The internal decay, when their soul becomes their prison. The first, and perhaps most profoundly overlooked way karma operates, is through the internal decay that the wrongdoer inflicts upon themselves. This is their self-created prison, a spiritual torment often unseen by the world, yet experienced intimately and constantly by their own soul. For the Stoics, the very essence of human flourishing, the only true good, is virtue, a life lived with unwavering wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Conversely, the only true evil, the deepest harm, is vice, acting with ignorance, injustice, cowardice, or succumbing to unchecked passions and intemperance. When someone chooses to act cruelly, dishonestly, to manipulate, or to betray trust, they are not primarily harming you, the object of their action. In the most profound and lasting sense, they are first and foremost harming themselves, their own character, their own capacity for genuine peace and well-being. Think of it this way. Every act of malice, every burst of uncontrolled anger, every moment of envy or deception carves a subtle but significant wound into their own inner integrity. It's like a person unknowingly or even knowingly poisoning their own inner wellspring of tranquility and rationality. They may gain a momentary advantage or feel a fleeting satisfaction from their perceived win, but at what immeasurable, devastating cost to their own moral fiber. There's no public decree, no immediate thunderclap of cosmic punishment that the world observes. Yet inside, within the confines of their own consciousness, they are inexorably becoming less virtuous, less rational, less aligned with their true, noble human nature. This is an inescapable internal consequence of their choices. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor who governed an empire yet focused intensely on his inner world, understood this profound truth deeply. He wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy, By refusing to mirror their vice, by choosing compassion over anger, understanding over resentment, you not only preserve your own unblemished soul, but allow them to suffer the natural, unadulterated consequence of their own eroded virtue. A person consumed by envy cannot know genuine, expansive peace. A soul driven by malice cannot experience true, unburdened joy. A spirit that constantly deceives lives in a perpetual prison of fear, always fearing exposure, always watching their back. This suffering is not externally imposed, it is tragically self-inflicted, an inevitable outcome of their choices, working relentlessly from within. You do not need to lift a finger because their character, their very soul, is already exacting its silent, unwavering justice upon them. 2. The tyranny of insatiable desires, their golden cage. The second profound way silent justice unfolds is through the relentless tyranny of their own unmanaged expectations and insatiable desires, their self-created golden cage. Very often, the actions that harm others stem not from direct, cold malice, but from a deeply disordered mind, from an insatiable craving for external things, an unending hunger for more money, more fame, more power, more validation, more pleasure. The Stoics taught with piercing clarity that these very attachments, these uncontrolled appetites, are the true chains that bind us, ironically, regardless of whether we attain the objects of our craving. Consider the individual who consistently schemes, manipulates, or exploits others, driven by a desperate, gnawing need for external gains. Even if they succeed beyond their wildest dreams, even if they accumulate vast wealth, wield immense power, or garner widespread acclaim, their cravings are never truly satisfied. The very moment one desire is met, another, often larger, immediately takes its place, trapping them in a relentless, exhausting, and ultimately futile cycle of longing, striving, and profound dissatisfaction. As Epictetus, the former slave who became a beacon of philosophical freedom, understood this paradox intimately. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. The wrongdoer, by intrinsically tying their well-being, their happiness, their very sense of worth to fleeting, conditional external factors, continuously forfeits their inner freedom and inner peace. Their punishment in this scenario is not the absence of external success, but the perpetual anxiety of chasing the next gain, the gnawing fear of losing what they've already grasped, and the pervasive, underlying dissatisfaction with what they already possess. They are never truly at rest, because their happiness is always external, always conditional, always just beyond the horizon, tantalizingly out of reach. You don't need to wish for their downfall. Their own unexamined, insatiable desires are a more potent and constant source of torment than any external misfortune you could conjure. They are, in essence, building a magnificent yet suffocating cage around themselves, adorned with the very treasures they crave, yet never truly feeling liberated or content. This is the heavy, crushing price of a life dictated by insatiable appetites, a karma that ensures their inner state is always in flux, always chasing, never truly arriving at genuine, lasting peace. 3. The echoes of disconnection, the natural consequences. The third profound way silent justice unfolds is through the inevitable natural consequences of their own actions, the echoes of disconnection they create in the world. Beyond the internal suffering of character erosion and insatiable desire, our choices have tangible ripples, reshaping our external reality in ways that are often unforeseen or ignored by the wrongdoer. Someone who habitually lies or manipulates inevitably loses trust. Someone who is consistently unreliable or irresponsible finds genuine opportunities dwindling. Someone who treats others with contempt, arrogance, or cruelty finds authentic connections withering and eventually breaking. The universe, or nature as the Stoics understood it, operates with an inherent rationality and an undeniable order. Actions invariably produce reactions, whether immediate and obvious or delayed and subtle. A person who acts unjustly, who betrays or harms, might gain a temporary advantage or appear to get away with it for a time, but they gradually risk profound alienation, a significant loss of genuine reputation, and the irreversible breakdown of vital relationships over time. They might succeed in building a superficial kingdom of material possessions or influence, but they often find themselves deeply isolated, surrounded by people who fear or resent them, rather than genuinely loving or respecting them. Seneca eloquently observed this truth. No man is free who is not master of himself, and a person who cannot master their impulses, who cannot consistently act with justice and temperance, frequently invites chaos, distrust, and profound disconnection into their external world as well. Think of the individual whose harsh, cutting words consistently push loved ones away, leaving them in time surrounded by superficial acquaintances or outright loneliness, or whose deceitful practices, though initially yielding profit, eventually catch up to them, leading to a loss of credibility, professional standing, and vital opportunities. This isn't you orchestrating their downfall. It's simply the impersonal, yet utterly precise, law of cause and effect at play. People are discerning, they learn, they adapt, and they eventually quietly withdraw their valuable energy, trust, and affection from those who consistently bring negativity, harm, or unreliability into their lives. The punishment isn't a dramatic cosmic intervention. It's the quiet, often agonizing erosion of their support network, the closing of doors, the eventual solitude and regret that naturally arise from choices that sever bonds rather than forge them. This is a subtle, yet undeniably powerful form of justice that unfolds organically, requiring absolutely no intervention from you. 4. The unwavering mirror, the weight of their own conscience. The fourth, often invisible and most deeply personal punishment for the wrongdoer is the unwavering mirror of their own conscience, the inescapable weight of their inner reckoning. Regardless of how well someone might outwardly rationalize their actions or how successfully they evade external consequences and judgment, the internal court of conscience is always, perpetually, in session. The Stoics recognized with profound insight that our inner dialogue, our judgments of ourselves, and our memory of our deeds are utterly inescapable. We are ultimately accountable to ourselves. A person who acts unjustly, who betrays or harms others, often lives with a profound and persistent internal dissonance. There might be fleeting moments of triumph or a sense of having won, but beneath the surface, there can be a persistent unease, a quiet, almost imperceptible self-reproach, or the gnawing feeling of having acted against their own better nature, their true, rational self. This internal contradiction, this misalignment between who they are and who they aspire to be or once were, is a profound form of suffering. As Socrates, whose ethical inquiries deeply influenced the Stoics, famously suggested, true harm is done to one's own soul when one acts unjustly. Even if they rationalize their actions to the world, even if they successfully avoid all external judgment, the truth of their character is known intimately only to them, in the quiet, reflective moments when they are truly alone with their thoughts. This internal reckoning, this silent war within oneself, is a heavy, inescapable burden. They might desperately try to distract themselves, to bury it under more desires, more activity, more noise, or even more vices. But the quiet whisper of their own conscience, the indelible memory of their deeds, persists. It chips away at their peace, their sleep, their ability to genuinely enjoy life. You don't need to confront them or wish ill upon them. Their own mind, their own sense of self, is already engaged in a relentless, silent struggle. This is a deeply personal form of karma, one that is entirely internal and requires no external enforcement, working relentlessly and inescapably from within, often consuming their peace far more thoroughly than any external punishment ever could. Your unshaken peace, their ultimate failure. 35 Tangsi, 40 Dhanna. Finally, the fifth and perhaps most profoundly liberating way karma works is your own unshaken peace, their ultimate failure to truly harm you. This is where you reclaim your power, not just emotionally, but existentially. The Stoics taught us that the only thing a wrongdoer can truly take from you is your inner tranquility, your virtue, your peace of mind. But crucially, they can only do this if you allow them to. When someone wrongs you and you make the conscious, deliberate choice not to succumb to anger, bitterness, or a consuming desire for revenge, you are demonstrating the ultimate form of self-mastery. You are sending a clear, silent, and incredibly powerful message to yourself and to the universe. Your peace is not dependent on their actions, and your well-being is not dictated by their injustice. You remain a citadel of serenity, unbreached by their transgressions, unmoved by their attempts to destabilize your inner world. Epictetus famously advised, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that what happens happens as it does happen, then you will be happy." By cultivating this mindset, by accepting the reality of the external event without letting it corrupt your internal state, you deny the wrongdoer the ultimate win. The power to steal your peace, to diminish your joy, to derail your virtue, or to bind you to their negativity. Their punishment in this most powerful scenario is simply that their actions failed to cause the lasting internal damage they might have intended or inadvertently caused. You continue to flourish, to find joy, to live virtuously, to pursue your purpose, not because you are ignoring the wrong, but because you have made the conscious choice to control your response to it. Your peace, your ability to move forward, to continue living a fulfilling life untainted by resentment and bitterness, becomes the most profound form of karma working in your favor. It's a silent, undeniable testament to your strength, your resilience, and their ultimate inability to truly diminish or define you. You don't need revenge. Your unwavering tranquility, your flourishing spirit, your unshakable peace is a more powerful and devastating statement than any retaliation could ever hope to be. This is the ultimate silent justice. These 5 Stoic ways reveal that the scales of justice are far more intricate and internal than simple external retribution. Karma isn't merely a force you passively wish upon others. It's an inherent set of consequences that operate whether you acknowledge them or not. By deeply understanding these profound truths, you reclaim your inherent power. You free yourself from the draining bitterness of revenge and the consuming desire for external validation of justice. You come to realize that the greatest victory is not seeing them suffer, but choosing consciously and powerfully not to suffer yourself. Choosing freedom, peace, and growth. Focus relentlessly on your own virtue. Cultivate your inner world, and let the silent, inevitable currents of consequence take their course for all concerned. If this deep dive into silent justice resonated with you, if you're ready to embrace true freedom and build an unshakable inner world, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps us share this liberating wisdom with more seekers on their path to self-mastery. And don't forget to subscribe to Virtue's Forge for more profound insights into Stoicism, actionable personal development strategies, and the timeless wisdom that empowers you to forge your strongest, most peaceful self. What's your biggest takeaway from these Stoic ways of karma? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We love hearing how you're cultivating your inner peace and embodying silent justice in your life. Thank you for watching. May your days be filled with peace, purpose, and the profound power of your own unshaken spirit. See you in the next video.